Kyler, are you ready for some history? This is one of my favorite subjects. I'm so glad you chose to do this first because I really love it. I really love about our country and our history and everything to do with it because our nation is one the most greatest nations there is in the whole world. So let's get started. You're gonna have your history book. This one. And we're gonna start on chapter 1, which is page 5. All right. If you could just read along with me, that would be great. All right, so the years of discovery, Europe, where the New World began. Today, the United States of America is one of the largest, wealthiest, and most powerful nation on earth. But for hundreds of years, most people in the world did not even know there was an America. The only people who lived in America were Native Americans or Indians. Cities, roads, farms, factories, schools, or churches like that, they did not exist back then. History is the story of what has happened in the life of a country or people. The history of America as we know it actually began in Europe. Europe is a continent, which is a large mass of land. There are 7 continents on Earth. Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, North America, that's where we live, South America, and Antarctica. Although Europe is one of the smallest continents, it was responsible for the settlement of America. Brave men from Europe set sail over 500 years ago and found 2 new continents that came to be known as North America and South America. Many Europeans came to settle the new lands. England, France, Spain, and Portugal were the 4 European countries most responsible for their settlement of America. See if you can find all 7 continents on the world map on page 4. They're all in different colors. Did you notice that about 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered with water? Geographers, which are people who study the Earth, call the largest bodies of waters oceans. There are 4 oceans: the Atlantic, which is the most heavily traveled ocean, the Pacific, which is the largest ocean, the Indian, the warmest ocean, and the Arctic, the coldest and the smallest ocean. 500 years ago, Europeans did not have accurate maps like the maps in this book. They did not know how many continents and oceans are on the Earth. Many people thought they knew what the Earth looked like, but they could only guess. Because remember, they couldn't go outer space back then, couldn't go see for themselves what Earth looked like. Some people made maps. Many ancient maps do not look anything like the true surface of the Earth because they were based on incorrect information. Columbus discovers America. One man who thought he knew what the Earth's surface looked like was Christopher Columbus. Columbus was an Italian from Genoa, Italy, who had spent much of his life as a sailor. He had read every book he could find about geography, which is the study of the Earth's surface. Marco Polo, I'm sure you heard of the game Marco Polo, was a merchant who had traveled east to Cathay, which is China, and had visited the Khan, which is the ruler of China. After seeing the great wealth of China, Marco Polo returned to Europe and wrote about the wonders he had seen. Some Europeans did not want to believe Polo's amazing stories. Others, however, were eager to visit Asia and get some wealth for themselves. Christopher Columbus read and believed Marco Polo's story and devised a plan to sail to Asia. He wanted to visit the lands of China and Kapongo, Japan. Columbus thought that if he sailed west from Europe, he would eventually get to Asia. If you look again at the map on page 4, you can easily see that he was wrong with his plan. Columbus did not know when you would travel west. 2 continents and 2 oceans lie between Europe and Asia. He did not even know the Pacific Ocean existed. Ferdinand and Isabella, the king and queen of Spain, gave Columbus part of the funds that he needed. Columbus prepared 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, for the unusual journey. Finding the ships was not as hard as finding the men to sail the ships. The fearful and superstitious sailors did not want to go with Columbus into an ocean that no one had crossed before. Some of the more uneducated sailors thought that the Earth was flat. They were sure that Columbus would fall over the edge of the Earth if he sailed too far. Even those who knew the Earth was round were afraid that the unknown sea was too big to cross. They were afraid that the men would die of starvation and thirst before they reached Asia. There were also stories about sea monsters that ate ships that wandered too far into unknown waters. Finally, Columbus found a crew brave enough to go with him and begin his first voyage in August 1492. As the three ships disappeared over the horizon, no one was sure if Columbus or his crew would ever be seen again. I'm going to pause the video for now, and then so go to part 2.